Thank you for joining me for this month's Curators Tour. I'm Britt Mitchell, Curator of Exhibitions, and today we will be exploring Beyond the Furnace, cut and laminated glass in the first gallery of our contemporary glass wing. In contrast to the intense heat required to blow glass, these featured sculptures are cold-worked, meaning there is typically no melting of glass involved. Artists instead use manufactured sheet glass for shaping, adhering, and polishing at room temperature. Far from the drama of the hot shop, these artists emphasize geometry and capitalize on the optical properties of their medium in its cooled state to create dazzling sculptural works. Cut glass is an art term originated in the 18th century when new techniques and fashions were applied to glittering crystal tableware and chandeliers. The cuts, similar to today, were made by large grinding wheels or wet saws that kept the glass from cracking or overheating. Laminated glass in art refers to the process of adhering two or more pieces together. Contemporary glass artists have adapted these techniques, applying them, often in tandem, to sculptural forms. Using thick glass, shapes are then cut from the glass or embellished into the surface, creating abstract and geometric forms. Artists have developed their own techniques that push the intricate possibilities of cut and laminated glass, ultimately expanding on studio glass history. Today, we will be exploring the exhibition by technique. One of the key figures in the studio glass movement of the 70s is William Carlson, who is best known for his laminated geometric sculptures that incorporate granite with different types of industrial glass, such as vitrolite, which is a popular colored glass in the 1930s. In 1971, Carlson was one of the foundational members of the Pilchuck Glass School, helping to build the hot shop and gaining for himself rudimentary glass experience. Carlson's interest was not born from a particular love of glass, rather it was a medium that allowed him to work with the modernism of architecture and design, exploring his interests and ideas by combining glass with dissimilar materials. He cut, laminates, and polishes pieces of granite and glass, however, he states his intention with his sculpture as such. Quote, "So I am not just taking geometry and coldly putting it together, but there's a sense of a spine, a sense of a posture or a stance that these pieces have, that to me gives them a sense of grace and a sense of expression. Glass will either exaggerate space, or it will close it up or multiply it." Some of the most well-known cut and laminated glass works come from John Kuhn, who cuts colorful glass inlays and laminates them together using cross-sections to create dazzling, geometric sculptures that play with light. The amount of time it takes to create one of his pieces is anywhere from 3 months to 2 years, depending on the intricacy of the piece. One of his most time-consuming works included 140,000 cut and laminated pieces of glass. If you are able to see this work in person, I would invite you to walk around the piece, as this is when the glittering, kaleidoscopic effect of his work is most evident. Differing from Kuhn's intricate, glittering pieces are the works of Wilfred Grutens and Bohumil Eliash, who both paint on layered, laminated glass. They are placed in conjunction with each other so that viewers are able to compare and contrast the difference in the painted, layered glass works. Eliash visually dives into a multi-dimensional space with small, abstract shapes floating throughout each layer of the central corridor. Upon one of these layers is a dotted outline of a figure, usually absent from his work, adding a fragment of an imagined reality. Looking at Grutens' work, while the actual shape of the work is a cube, we can see that the interior is quite natural, juxtaposing geometric and organic forms together. Grutens explores dimension and space through his optical float technique. Layering painted glass sheets together, he creates vibrant forms that are reminiscent of biological cells. While the full immersion of the form is seen from the front, the works of both Grutens and Eliash become virtually invisible from the sides as the layers are more evident. Looking at a different approach to laminated glass are Zoltan Bohus and Jiong Li's frosted laminated sculptures that explore how light plays a critical role in illuminating details. Li's organic laminated sculpture is inspired by the science of a cell and its journey into becoming a living thing through multiple processes of division. working with glass of different transparency, translucency, and opacity. He brings the complex nature of cells, embryos, and molecular structures into his organic yet geometric sculptures. Each piece goes through a labor-intensive cold working process of being cut, carved, or ground, then laminated back together in segments, quote, each symbolizing building blocks of life. His works bring the microscopic to a larger scale with a vibrant, smooth glass sculpture that plays with the known and unknowns of science. Upon first glance, the frosted glass appears only to be simply a casting, but upon closer inspection, the light makes evident the edges of each laminated block that creates the whole shape. Bohus's work similarly depends on light to highlight the layers of the glass. He was single-handedly responsible for establishing glass art in Hungary and is known for his architectonic laminated glass sculptures that are inspired by the clean constructivist and minimalistic art styles found in the latter half of the 20th century. His skill with cold working glass visually interacts with the horizontal and vertical landscapes. The laminated sheets are the building blocks in which he created a vertical pictorial effect within the glass sculpture that plays with geometry, light, and symbols. Contemporary artists continue to push the boundaries of technique and style, evident in the many unique approaches to cut and laminated glass shown in this exhibition and throughout the museum. If you wish to see this exhibition in person, come visit our glass wing before the show closes on January 11th, 2026.